Welcome to the hottest talk radio show on the internet, where we do radio with a different style. I'm your host, Rob Bell, and this is Agents for Change Radio. I'm a little taken aback this morning as we broadcast over the internet because it just seems to me that there's this apathetic attitude in the black community about all that goes on within our community. Not just the violence, but the way that we, take care of our children, the way that we move throughout the neighborhood, the fact that we don't really challenge each other in terms of excellence, the fact that we don't aspire to be better than what we are. And I think sometimes we use this excuse use the excuse of poverty as being one of the main factors as to why we have this apathetic attitude about everything that goes on in our community. We have this, oh, woe is me kind of attitude, and it's everybody else's fault as to why, we are in the shape that we're in. And as a result, we can never kind of get ahead. And I'm just not built like that. I don't come from that stock. I come from the stock of, whenever there's a challenge, whenever there's a situation where things can be done a better way, then we can and should get those things done in a better way. And definitely as a collective, if we come together as a people, we definitely could get things done in a better way. But it just seems to me that, of late, nobody really gives a damn about what goes on. And even to add insult to injury, we are using this whole pandemic thing to exasperate our kind of, sorrows and our woes. I read an article the other day, or heard somebody, I think on the internet or television, to say that the reason why there's a spread of this now new Delta variant is because of black people. And I guess their theory is because most black people are reluctant to get the vaccine. As a result of that, they are spreading the virus all over the country. Because again, they are suspect that the government has this underlining whatever to get rid of us, and they refuse to take the vaccine. Well, the government doesn't have to get rid of us, or they have no underlining anything, because we basically are getting rid of ourselves, especially with the violence that occurs in our communities. We basically are killing ourselves. The government is just merely sitting back waiting for all the chips to fall so that they can scrape us off the sidewalk and get on with the business of, taking care of the government. Right now, the president has his hands full with this whole Afghanistan thing. And on top of that, he has his hands full with the whole pandemic thing. And so, why he's not even concerned about what's going on with us, And if he's not concerned, then Washington is definitely not concerned. If Washington's not concerned, then the states and the governors are not concerned. And they're relying on the mayors of all these cities to take care and handle their own business. Well, the mayor down here in Atlanta is in her last term, and she's at her last wit's end to try to figure out how we're going to resolve this crime issue down here and how we're going to deal with the pandemic. And she's right now in war with the governor over this issue of wearing a mask or not to wear a mask. The city of Philadelphia's mayor is at his wit's end because violence just seems to continue to permeate itself throughout the city, and almost every day there's a violent exchange between people and victims regarding violence. And so, in addition to the pandemic woes that they're going through, up in Philadelphia that have to go through that whole violent issue. And I suspect that mayors over the country in different parts of other cities are probably going through the same thing. I would venture to say that if you pick up a newspaper or listen to the radio or watch the news in just about every major city in the United States, we are all kind of going through the same thing. And I always say this, and I'm not being selfish. Well, to a degree I am. I'm concerned about all those things as well, but I'm more concerned about what happens in my community, what happens in the black community, because traditionally we have been able to be strong enough to get through just about everything that we need to get through. But it seems to me that of late, people are just, kind of wallowing in their sorrow and just putting their hands up and saying, forget it. And just, it's like feast or famine. And I struggle with that as a black person and as a black man. I created this whole Agents for Change network, and it was my idea. Well, my brother as well. It was our idea to try to provide information, motivating information to people to come together and as a people and as a group come up with some resolutions or maybe some strategies to figure out how we can get around this whole issue of violence. I even put something out yesterday to say that I'm appealing to the black women in our community to, come to my page and give me your names. And so, with that, I could start a petition and maybe get some interest amongst the people here down in Atlanta and up in Philadelphia to try to ask somebody to help us figure out how we can squash some of this violence. And maybe I'm kind of jumping the gun, or maybe it's too early, but I haven't received not one name. Now, is that because I'm living this kind of pie in the sky kind of attitude? Or is that because people just really don't give a damn about what's happening and everybody's kind of caught up in their own panacea, in their own kind of world, and the things that mean something to me are not the same things that mean something to them? I don't know. It could be a combination of all that. But the bottom line is, when things start to fall apart in this country, and they are slowly but surely falling apart right now, the people who are going to suffer the most are the people who are not in position to do well. In more cases than not, you know who that is. That's us. And so if we don't move towards trying to get ourselves together and doing better for who we are and what we got, when it's all said and done, we're going to find ourselves scrambling and coming down the pike on a real negative kind of side of the whole thing. Now, the president is trying to make an effort to, help people who are poor by providing them with X amount of dollars in their bank account to help take care of their children, to help them with housing, to help them with their student loans. And those are very noble kind of things, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people out here that will take advantage of that. But then you have another group of people who will not take advantage of that and use those dollars to do what we've always did, or do what we always do. We party, we get high, we use alcohol, we buy designer clothes, we buy cars. And I guess, from what I've been told, that's why he's giving us the money anyway. Because he knows that as a people, with the type of spending power that we have as black people, that we're going to throw that money right back into the economy. And it's like, I guess, making an investment into a situation where, yeah, I'll give you some money now, but you're eventually going to give it back to me, because when you go out and you buy clothes and you party and you pop bottles and you buy cars, all you're doing is giving that money back to the economy. They tax those dollars, they're building those businesses up that you frequent that have nothing to do with building your community up, and gives America an opportunity to kind of get back on their feet. And we as black people never really look at that. Why? Because we're selfish and all we care about is ourselves. And the beat goes on. You know, I hate to sound like this, and I know I'm usually not my upbeat self, but I'm getting a little weary with, you know, not having people kind of look at this from a holistic standpoint and try to start figuring out, you know, how at this point we could be taking advantage of the country kind of falling on its ass a little bit and monopolizing and getting on top of things the way we can. And for maybe at one point in this history of this country, as a group, we can maybe get on top of some of this stuff and put ourselves in a better position to do well if or when we come out of this whole pandemic situation. But we don't even think like that. You know, we again are in the survival of the fittest mode, and it's, you know, get or be gotten, and that's how we think. You know, so hopefully when I come back on for my next broadcast, I'll sound a little bit more upbeat, and I have a little bit more optimism about where we are as black people. But that's only going to happen when I get some optimism from the people that hopefully I'm reaching. Maybe I'm not reaching enough people. Maybe the broadcast is not reaching enough people. Maybe, you know, I'm doing a poor job in giving out the opportunities. I know I'm not the most entertaining person on radio, because, you know, it's not, when you look at some of the other events that occur on social network, what I talk about, I guess it's kind of boring. It's not exciting enough. You know, it doesn't have enough of a twist. So, you know, people kind of shun away from, you know, there's Rob again talking about blah, 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 and I don't really want to hear it. So maybe that's where we are. But hopefully, at some point you are going to want to hear it, because, you know, you're going to be in a situation where things are just going to start to fall apart all around you. And when that happens, that's when we usually start to grab for straws. And, you know, what I'm trying to do is prevent that. But obviously, you know, people are just in situations where they don't care. This is Rob Bell. This is the Agent for Change radio broadcast. We are the hottest talk radio show on the internet, and we always attempt to keep it real. If you like what you're hearing, you like the videos, please make sure you subscribe. Press the like button on the video as you see it. Press the like button on the Facebook page when you see it. If you frequent YouTube, if you frequent Twitter, make sure you watch it on Twitter. If you frequent Instagram, make sure you continue to watch it. And most importantly, share this information with your friends and family, because the more information we get out, the more opportunity people get to hear what we got to say. The more people that hear what we got to say, hopefully we can get some things done. Again, I'm Rob Bell. I'm your host. Have a great day.